Buchanan. Shots of Celtic. It's the way again of Buchanan.
It's on their bench. There's Buchanan. And shots of Celtic. Breaks the way again of Buchanan. Modibo defending there for South Africa, and they win the free kick.
Yeah, talk about Canada's strength in depth, but it's very telling that Alphonso Davies is not in the starting 11. He can't be fit. This is such an important game for Canada that if he was, he'd be in the starting 11, I'm sure.
That Qatar win was their first ever World Cup win, and they scored those 6 goals up in Vancouver. So they have raised the bar at this World Cup, which they're co-hosting with the USA and Mexico. There's Maseko, looking towards Apolis. And a glassing touch away by Johnston. And he spent 3.5 years playing Glasgow with Celtic. Here's Hoebe. Mudo, back to Ocon. Really gave that ball away, and that has been a feature of South Africa's football this World Cup. They've given away some pretty cheap goals, most notably in the opening match at the Azteca against Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, taking risks at the back, you cannot do that against this Canadian team. They're set up to press high, they'll go after you.
There's a chase on here for Magopa. Got support up there too. This is Mofokeng. Backed up by Mokoena. And the first save there by Maxime Crepeau in the Canadian goal. Now there might be a break on as David tries to make inroads, but covering back there was Mbukazi. David battles again.
It's a great play coming from David there down that right-hand side. Crepeau did well, but I think Switzerland showed the frailties that Canada do have in defence when they broke on their regain, so they have to be careful. South Africa will hit them with quite a lot of pace.
Liam Mither. Turned out by Bombito. That shot from Eustachio was somewhere over the top, but he's a key player. Back in that midfield today, he came off the bench in their last group game. One of the more experienced Canadians. So we'll see again Mokoena's shot that was saved by Maxime Crepeau. Intense from both teams in the early stages in Los Angeles. It is the 6th of 8 games here at this wonderful stadium. It's a venue that's more than worthy of hosting the final itself. There have been 19 goals in the first 5 matches here.
I think the fact that both teams have shown defensive frailties and some superb attacking play means that this game is going to be good, Joe. I promise you, exciting, full of action and intensity.
Crepeau going long, chase off of Buchanan. And they win it too here, Buchanan. Trying to get a corner for Canada, but the referee gives a goal kick. There are 2 teams who have great width, and Tejan Buchanan certainly a man to watch for the Canadians.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are leaving players what you call cheating, so they stay quite high, so when they regain it, that they're the first to react. Buchanan's certainly one of those.
Aubrey Modiba, left back for South Africa. World Cup which has seen the African teams perform so well so far. The only one to bow out after the first phase was Tunisia. And they sacked their coach after their opening game. Big defeat against Sweden. And the big surprise package of being Cape Verde, their wonderful run to play knockout football later in the week. Although Shea inside there to Mither. Larea to his left. Larea now with a chance for Canada. It loops up and behind for a corner.
And Canada are dangerous because they've always got a player in every section across the pitch ready to come into play. Larea was the one up from left back. Great block in there. Seko.
So the game's first corner, Stefan Eustachio will take it. Played in with pace, actually dropping into a decent area, but beyond all of his teammates. There's Ocon. It'll be a free kick for South Africa.
Canada, it's kind of high press, but it's quite loose. Gives them success, but it just means that they can adjust and retreat if they need to.
Gianni Infantino, who gets everywhere, here again. You may have seen the out on the road behind him too. Sepewe Shabalala, player who scored that famous opening goal of the World Cup in 2010 for South Africa. Here's Modiba. Now Mofokeng. No way through though for him, and Buchanan finds Oluwaseyi. That's David. In goes Eustachio. And now McQuainer for South Africa.
It's great recovery, South Africa. McQuainer just had to get that ball right forward, and there'll be a real threat.
David's ball there towards Miller. Challenge came in from Mudau. Seemed to be a fair one. Their issues with discipline in the tournament, South Africa. There were 2 players sent off in their opening game. One of those still banned, Temba Zawani, serving the 3rd match of a 3-game suspension. Given away there by Sepewe. And we've seen that before, the World Cup.
Well, they targeted him. They've got 2 players around him. Sitole, who's just probably tempt him to receive the ball from the goalkeeper, and then they just jump on him. Canada very physical in the duels, Canada.
His error in the opening game led to Julian Quiñones scoring the first goal of this World Cup for Mexico. Really has been quite some upturn for South Africa since then. It was a ragged start at the Azteca. Following that, they came from behind to win a point against Czech Republic. And then came that surprise victory against South Korea. Johnston. Oluwaseyi. The ball just going beyond him. There's a clear push there by the Raya. Hugo Broos, the coach of South Africa. Things have panned out differently. He would have been in retirement by now. His retirement plans on hold for a few days yet. And he plans to step away at the end of South Africa's tournament in North America. Chance has been taken in their own defensive third.
Yeah, they've got to beat that first press. It's got to go a little bit longer from there.
Mbakazi going long here to Apolis. Mofokeng, he's just 21, on he goes again. Now Makopa. Mofokeng. Backed up by Sitobe. Modiba. Nice feed. But Apolis, it's a very important challenge that came in by Eustachio.
Brilliant from Modiba. As soon as they face forward, South Africa, so effective.
Well, a fun team to watch when they're going forward, but they can be open defensively. And here come Canada with a big chance now. Liam Miller. Oh, and he came inside there. And that allowed the challenge to come in. And a key challenge too from Mbakazi.
And Mbakazi did so well, but Miller had a lot of time to think about this. The crowd get on their feet, they get louder and louder, and it's making the right decision. Tries to come in on his right-hand side. Great challenge though, Mbakazi.
He's the youngest player in the squad for South Africa. Mbakazi just 20. Here's their first match on the West Coast. They had 2 games in Mexico in the group stage, and they played once in Atlanta in the Deep South. So it's been tough on their fans to follow their team, and well, not that many, it must be said, here in Los Angeles today. There are a few empty seats around this huge stadium. It's the first of 3 knockout games here. We've got 2 in the round of 32. The other one could be quite some game too, between Spain and Austria. And then maybe a quarter-final here too between Spain and the USA if things pan out that way.
A magnificent stadium. Worthy of big games, that's for sure.
On by Saliba. Here's Oderushei. David. And then Sitove just about sees that danger away, but a bit of time there for David.
Yeah, they left him on his own. David, you don't do that. His first touch, but as soon as he took his first touch, South Africa just swarmed around him, didn't give him the time for the second. It's good defending in the end, but he was left not marked.
David scored that momentous hat-trick in the win against Qatar. 1 of 3 at the World Cup so far, along with Messi and Dembele, so some company for the Canadian number 10. Stakrio's out-swinging corner, and it was turned goalward. That was a chance again there for the co-hosts Canada, and it was for David.
Yeah, Stakrio's delivery in this tournament has been absolutely superb. It means that set pieces are a weapon. Didn't quite get that right, David, but that could be a way of Canada into this game.
Striker who's been linked with moves to English teams over several years, but not happened yet. Born in the US in New York, brought up in Ottawa. He won a French title playing for Lille, and then moved to Juventus last summer.
It's interesting how South Africa play those 2 centre midfielders sit in front of the back 4. They play 1 in front and 1 behind, rather than right and left. It just leaves space either side so that Canada forwards can drop into that space. Just need to be aware of that when they lose possession, South Africa.
Jesse Marsh, his 3rd tournament with Canada as their head coach. Last World Cup though. Did reach the semi-finals of the Copa America in the USA 2 years ago. Reached a quarter-final of the Gold Cup last summer. Actually went out of both of those tournaments on penalties. I wonder if it will go all the way here in LA today. Johnston. Saliba. Nice pass from David. Saliba. The footing was by Mudau. Ocon. Sitove. Nice pass there to Sitove again. Looking for Madiba. The Ponce. And Mokoena. Slow and patient build-up play from South Africa. Hear some of the groans and the murmurings of discontent from the neutrals who are in this venue, and there have been plenty of those for the games when we've been here. A huge number of Mexican fans have come to the matches in LA. It's the Mexican border not too far away from here. And there was half a chance that Mexico could have been playing in this game, but they were the Group A winners, and they will take on Ecuador in the Azteca in Mexico City in a few days' time.
South Africa had actually got in some good positions, as have Canada, without creating high-quality chances. South Africa look dangerous when they get on the edge of the box, 1 and 2 touch, because Canada do get the bodies forward. Really seen anything clear-cut yet.
They scored 8 goals in the group stage, Canada. Huge improvement on their previous couple of the World Cup appearances. 4 years ago in Qatar, they went out in the group stage, scoring just once. Their first World Cup game 40 years ago. They didn't score a single goal in that tournament in Mexico. Udo. There's Maseko. Snapping in was the Raya. Although Shea, he was fouled there from behind the referee, just waiting, but no advantage was forthcoming, so it's a free kick.
See, now I know that's Jessica Alba. Down with the kids.
I would have absolutely no idea. But 2 Hollywood stars are in town. And Hollywood Hill's actually only a few miles away, and if you squint off to our left-hand side, you can just about see that famous Hollywood sign out there on the horizon. We have seen some big names in LA for the group stage games, and so we have them in town again today. It's quite some place to visit, this complex known as Hollywood Park. Eustachio with the free kick, and chance for Cornelius, while the flag stayed down, and that was a free header for Derek Cornelius.
Well, they were lining up here, got to get something on that. Goalkeeper's thinking he's going to be picking this out of the back of his net. It's tame in the end, isn't it, from Cornelius?
And here's Maseko for South Africa. Up against Cornelius, who's back defending. Set back for Mokoena. Flying block from Eustachio. Those wide players, Maseko and Apolis, will be so dangerous for South Africa. Given away by Madiba.
Yeah, Mofoke was causing Canada problems by dropping and receiving, but they've just adjusted a little to try and keep an eye on him. Eustachio's done that. Just having a look at him now, trying to stop the ball into Mofoke.
Jesse Marsh always wants his team to play at a high tempo. And with this first half hydration break, a chance for some words of instruction from him. As loud boos ring out around the stadium, which has been a feature of these hydration breaks over the course of the World Cup so far. Well, don't forget, you still have the chance to win £75,000 and a trip for 2 to New York to watch the FIFA World Cup final on the 19th of July. Single entry by text or online costs £2.50, plus your standard rate message for texts. Entries close at 10 AM on Monday, 6th of July. Post closes 12 noon on the 9th of July. Entrance must be 21 or over. Enter the website or scan the QR code for full entry details.
Morocco. All of those games live on TalkSport. You can get it via your connected TV as well as the TalkSport app, of course. And every single game, all 104 of them are going to be live across the TalkSport network. This is game number 73. Just to touch on what's happened with African football in this tournament, Alvin, as well. You know, 9 of the 10 teams have qualified for the knockout stages. Now, yes, obviously we've got a
possession, which has been awarded to South Africa. The last couple of the games they played largely without the ball, and they were very effective on the breakaway in that situation against South Korea, and that surprise win their last game to advance to this stage. Now at their 4th World Cup, their first since they were a host nation 16 years ago. Tournament of Vuvuzelas and Lampard's goal that never was, Ghana's memorable run to a quarter-final. Iniesta's winning goal in the final for Spain. There's Mither. Larrea. Eustachio. Takes to Magopa.
Yeah, that's a good example of a chance for South Africa to get up the pitch quickly. They've been a bit reticent to play the ball forward in those situations earlier on in the half, but when the space appears there, when Johnson's gone forward, you've got to get runners beyond.
Liam Mither into Eustachio. Larrea. Cornelius. So the best chance of the match so far. Bombito prefers to Luke de Fougerolles of Fulham in the back 4. Touched off by Magopa. The Polis, pressurised by Saliba. Scored a free kick in the game against Qatar in the group stage.
Great energy from Saliba there, recognised that trigger, pass backwards, touch backwards, and he just gets about the player in possession.
It's a bit winded on this near side. Oswin Apolis. Play continues, turned away by Ocon back there for South Africa. Mokoena. Apolis. Sitode.
South Africa work out when to play forward quickly and when to just chill and build a little bit slower, and they're going to crack it. I think just a little bit erratic in the decisions in when to play forward, when to just keep hold of it.
Well, Hugo Broos, their veteran coach, said before the game that he feels there are weaknesses there to exploit in the Canadian team. It's a game of chess in many ways, waiting for those gaps to open up to exploit them.
There's a lot of neutrals in here that want to see the ball in play.
Well, not quite the razzmatazz we've seen in previous matches here to this point. Mokoena. Good bit of movement there by Mopakeng. Modiba. Mokoena. It's a dangerous ball that, but well held by Maxime Crepeau. Johnston. Back once again to Crepeau. Used to play here in LA for LAFC. Mither. It's a great few weeks for him, helping Hull City in promotion to the Premier League a few weeks back in that Championship playoff final. And now back to start again, as he was for the opening match of this tournament for Canada at the World Cup.
Yeah, he came on in the last game and did very well. And the team that was struggling, not playing too well, so he's earned his spot this afternoon.
That's the area where we may see Alphonso Davies if he comes onto the pitch later in the day. Left back at club level for Bayern Munich, but he's often played left wing for Canada. Bombito. Intervention was by Umbakazi. Up goes Mokoena. Away by Madiba. Johnston. Little flick inside there by Buchanan. David. Oluwaseyi. Saliba. See the idea, but the pass cut out by Mudau. Ocon. Turned on by Sitobe up towards Magopa. Cornelius. Mither.
You can see the way South Africa is set up when Canada have it. They're like inside Canada's shape. So it kind of makes Canada quite predictable.
Good feet there by Buchanan. Supported by Johnston. Back came Apovis. The Canadian number 17 perhaps who can just unlock things with some flair. Say Jean Buchanan plays for Villarreal in Spain.
Yeah, South Africa are set like that and they're quite narrow. Canada will have to move the ball a little bit quickly, use that width, but one and touch combination play, that's the way they're set out. They are close to each other on that either wing.
Hugo Broos, their coach, now 2 months beyond his 74th birthday, the oldest coach still at the World Cup this summer. The oldest head coach to take charge of a World Cup knockout game, coming to the end of a 5-year stint in charge. There's a cohesion about the team which is more akin to a club side, as evidenced by their famous singing when they come off the team bus into the stadium on match day. The Guijo, as it's known. About building spiritual harmony. That's our routine too before a game.
We're not quite as good as them though.
That's given away by Umbakazi. Saliba. Mither. Oluwaseyi. Maybe over-ambitious there given the tight angle.
Yeah, it left him with in a difficult place. Oluwaseyi there, and the ball out wide.
Off goes Maseko. Ray went back there with him. Cornelius doubling up. Mither helping out too, but giving away a corner for South Africa.
Yeah, I mean, Canada have adjusted again. They're dropping a little bit deeper to deny that space to run into. They've done that quite well, so that run and pass has to be right from South Africa. Much better down that right inside for Maseko.
So Osman Apolis will take the corner for Bafana. Headed one by Ocon. Go away and behind for a goal kick. For decades, Those who followed the Canadian team were part of a minority. It was a niche group who would follow the national side. Media coverage was minimal. And it's all been changing in recent years and in recent weeks too. Growing support for this team, and it will grow even further if they advance to a last 16 match.
I think it's probably the strongest squad they've ever had. Canada, led well by Jesse Marsh, who understands them, gets them playing his way, full of energy.
What a time a few years ago when the Canadian authorities had to pay broadcasters to show their games rather than the other way around. Here's a Pobis for South Africa. Challenged well by Bombito, who is a key figure back in that defence today, and that's why.
Yeah. That's a great run for Pobis. Perhaps he might have been offside originally, but no flag.
The corner was given there, but that was overturned. Ultimately a goal kick. And incorrect corners now can be overturned with the use of video technology. It's a foul committed by Sepeda Maseko. He was born in Wisconsin, Jesse Marsh, in the Midwest of the USA. His family home is in the Tuscan Hills, just outside Pisa. And they had that 1 year in charge of Leeds in West Yorkshire.
Similar places.
I think I prefer the Tuscan wine. That defeat against the Swiss was their first in 11 games. He's never lost back-to-back matches in his couple of years in charge of Canada. Saliba.
Yeah, Miller's not getting much change out of Moudou on that left-hand side for Canada.
Eustaquio with a header. David. One back by Moudou.
Yeah, they don't give you any time, John, the ball, South Africa, to take those touches. It has to be quick touches.
Here's Modiba, a long-serving left-back. He's gone past 50 caps during this World Cup. Cute back heel, but read by Buchanan. And there's a foul on Saliba by Sitobe.
Absolutely clattered him. That's a nice little turn there. Not so sure his manager will be as happy and get away, but that's what they're capable of.
Might be a bit lucky to avoid a booking there, Sitobe. Remember, he was sent off in the opening match. It's Dwayne De Rosario amongst the Illuminati watching on. Four-time Canadian Player of the Year.
Are you just reading the name in the background? I like it. I like his style.
It's a very helpful clue. Buchanan. Bombito. Battle back from a broken leg last autumn to get fit in time to play at the World Cup. Odoshe. In goes Umbakazi. And the assistant referee there flags for a free kick for Canada.
Now, this is the chance now. Canada set themselves up for a set piece. It's been quite a tight game. Not too many chances. Canada with the best of them. Biggest value, but game needs a goal.
Very tight contest to this point. Clear openings have been scarce, but with a set piece, open a door for the Canadians. Sent in by Eustabio. Loops up and behind for a goal kick.
It's interesting so far, Joe. Both sides are athletic, well drilled, but they're just lacking in players that are game changers at the moment. The way that they both build is quite predictable. Both have got the other's number in terms of stopping at the edge of the box. It just needs something a little bit different from both sides.
And again, it's pretty audible. The fact that the neutrals are not really backing South Africa in terms of their style of football. There go Lolmer, and a collision has left Cornelius down. It's Bombito, who's slow to get back to his feet again. South African players there colliding. Called by Crepo. Buchanan with a header inside, into Oluwaseyi. Back now for Eustabio. Mither. Saliba. Nice turn there by Mither. What can he conjure here? Liam Mither. Breaks for Johnston. Bit of a heavy touch inside, but they're able to maintain possession. Johnston goes again, good run by him. Oh, poke square towards Oluwaseyi.
We haven't seen many of those, have we? Runs in behind in that inside channel. Whether it's from a full-back or a wide player.
Third corner of this first half for Canada. Got 5 players lined up there waiting to attack it, with David tussling around in front of the goalkeeper. See Buchanan being spoken to there by the Portuguese referee, João Pinheiro. Sent in by Eustabio, and there's the header! Oh, turn off the goal line! Still might be a chance, it's Buchanan, and blocked away again. And South Africa just about survived there.
South Africa were looking around at each other to see whether the goalkeeper come out, too many bodies. They ended up Canada first touch, but they just could not get the decisive strike. So many bodies in the way. South African players, great goal line clearance from Madiba. And that's the sort of action we want to see. Terrific header, Bombito. Johnny on the spot, Madiba.
Yeah, Aubrey Madiba with that vital defending for South Africa. And a save in there too from Ronwen Williams. By far and away the nearest we've come to a goal in LA.
Best set piece yet for Canada. Managed to get 3 players free.
Mither. Larea. Oh, now then, could that be a penalty? Well, the referee has given a goal kick, I think. There will certainly be a VAR check on this. From up here, up in the gods, that looked to be a strong shout for a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought, what Larea did well is he's got his body in front, swung his leg. Now it's whether his leg was caught as he swung his leg to kick. There's the leg in front. Now the referee is in such a good position there. Just as he swings his leg to shoot.
Well, does the Raya kick
Well, that's
Ludo?
it. That's the thing. You get your leg in there, you get kicked.
Well, we have Christina Uncle in our ref room in New York. Christina, what's your view of that one?
I would prefer to see a penalty given here and a VAR recommendation down. As you guys noted, there is always that argument as did this person step into that passing lane or that movement of that leg going through into this. This is a good comparison, for example, where we saw Brazil versus Scotland and Vinicius Jr., where they gave a foul to take away a goal because they said he stepped into that stepping lane of that player. So these are the ones that are up for debate. We have seen a very high threshold here in FIFA in this tournament where VAR is not intervening, and here we see VAR not intervening. However, I do want this for a penalty. In my personal opinion, I do think this is a foul.
Well, thanks, Christina. Interesting thoughts there. The VAR check complete in the VAR room in Davos, and we restart with a goal kick rather than a Canadian penalty. Big talking point.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a defender, you could just put your foot in the way and say you got kicked. I've seen that happen a few times. Some being given, some not. From a Canada point of view, you'd be absolutely fuming. South Africa breathing a sigh of relief there.
South Africa could perhaps do with a half-time whistle. Coming towards the end now, first half stoppage time. Oluwaseyi trying to find a way through. Down he goes this time. It was Sitobe's challenge. And again, no foul was seen by the referee.
I think the longer you stay hold of the ball, the edge of South Africa's box, the more time you give them to get around. Got to move it quicker, Canada.
Whistle blown there for a foul by David. And the Canadian frustration's clear to hear and to see. I think it may have been one where the referee would have been told to go across and consult the pitch side monitor. And so ends the first half then, this first knockout tie at this year's World Cup, and Jesse March is pacing out there on the pitch to have a word with the referee. He's been told there to move away, in fact, by the defender Moise Bombito. The Canadians need to be careful and need to keep their emotions in check. He is now moving away. David continuing the conversation.
We've given our views. I mean, we both think it's a spot kick, but by the interpretation that we've seen from FIFA throughout this tournament, I can understand why they've not chosen to overrule the referee or send him to the screen, because you would say probably that Raya made the first contact. Excellent 3 clearances off the line from South Africa. Cornelius
United, one of the chiefs at the club right now, Omar Barada, says Ruben Amorim struggled at the club because he, quotes, cornered himself by sticking too rigidly to his ideas. We know what happened to Ruben Amorim. Lasted 14 months in his role at Old Trafford and was replaced recently by Michael Carrick. Amorim has found himself a berth at AC Milan. But speaking at the Financial Times weekend, United chief exec Barada has said this. Well, he was a coach that had been very successful in Portugal. He was young, he was dynamic. He had a way of explaining his football knowledge and ideas that were very clear. But then almost crucially, he says, maybe he, Amorim, cornered himself in a position where he wanted to stick in a very rigid manner to his ideas because he wanted to show everybody that it's going to work. So, my take from that, Alex, yours. No doubt is similar. Barada, his view of Amorim was, come hell or high water, he couldn't be shifted from his position, no matter who was telling him to.
But they should have known that when they hired him. If they'd done their homework properly, if they'd just picked up the phone to their contemporaries at Liverpool, because Amorim was interviewed by Liverpool before they hired Arne Slot. And the reason he didn't get the job, one of the main factors, was they didn't feel like his very rigid system would suit their playing squad. So presumably he would have told Manchester United the same when he was interviewed, and they should have looked at that Manchester United squad and realised, you know what, we haven't really got the players to play a back three. It doesn't work in the Premier League. The only team to win the Premier League playing a back three were Chelsea under Antonio Conte. So I think that's poor. I think that's poor from Barada.
So it does work.
What, once in 30 years?
But it does work then. But it's just having the right players for the right system.
Which United don't have.
They haven't for 10 years, but, you know. This guy's fault. But I love when like Barada and the like do these talks because it's never their fault. And you know, they hired the person. They actually got into so much of an argument to get this person in that someone else got sacked. In the meantime, for that, in Ashworth, who lost his job obviously because he was against it. Then now we've had a little bit of success with Michael Carrick and fair play to Michael. But you know, unlike Alex, who gets very up with it because Man U were back and they're going to win the league in the next couple of years.
I've never said
I know you haven't. I'm winding you up. It is one of those situations where we actually haven't seen Michael Carrick and this Man United team really stress tested at this moment in time. Let's see. Let's see when it's 3 games a week.
But interestingly, Troy, this is the same Barada who also says, I look back at the process of the appointment, Amorim. I think the rationale for choosing him was sound.
There you go. It's not my fault.
Clearly it wasn't. I mean, he's the worst Manchester United manager since Sir Alex Ferguson, and there have been a few. Comfortably the worst. Win percentage, he finished 15th. Whatever happens under Michael Carrick next season, they're not going to finish 15th.
No, I agree. I agree to that point. My point is more that...
Barada says he raised the standards in the dressing room.
He did that to a certain extent.
I agree. I agree with that. But the same things he tried to get rid of will start to come back because it's the old club again, isn't it? What are they going to do with Marcus Rashford now?
Simon, how admirable is it dying by your principles? Because he wasn't going to be shifted, Amorim.
Well, you know what happens with your principles when you die? They die with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the old adage, was it one of the Marx brothers or was it W.C. Fields that said, I've got a set of principles and you don't like them, I've got another set. The bottom line is that the most flexible... You've got to have standards and you've got to have beliefs, but you've got to be able to have the resources around you to be able to execute them. And the smarter people, what they do is they finesse and they change and they get it around to where they want it to be over a period of time. I think the writing should have been on the wall when this manager was coming into London photobombing himself in every football club that would even bother to talk to him, including West Ham. So whilst I respected some of the things that he said, Amorim, because he was bold, he wasn't having any of Marcus Rashford's nonsense and things of that nature, I think some of the things that he was allowed to say were ridiculous. Now, this forensic evaluation from this George Carman-like, administrator at Manchester United in terms of the benefit of his experience is wonderful. The good people don't need hindsight. Now, one thing I can tell you is that managers are chameleons, and they will tell you what you want to hear in interviews. They will tell you what they will do and how they will do things and how they'll adhere to the structure of the football club and who they will work with and what they like and how they'll play this way and how they'll play that way. And then they get in the door sometimes and they do precisely the polar opposite and do what they want. I've seen it happen. I've had it done to me. So you've got to be able to find your way through it. Barada was brought in to be the expert in the room. He's a very experienced operator. He was brought in to be the best in class, ironically, at their rivals Manchester City across the town, to give that expertise into the Man United boardroom. Yeah. So he's got to be able to whiff the BS when he hears it. Now, Amorim coming through the door is an ideologue. There's nothing to be... again, I make the point. You've got to have central values and principles. Yeah. But you're a fool if you die on a cross or on a hill about something that's really very difficult to achieve. What Amorim will say is, I was building... This was not a sprint, it was a marathon. And I was built for a marathon. But in the business, whether you like it or you agree with it or not, if the business that you're in means that in the short term you have to be moderately successful to be able to get the long term, then you're a bleeding imbecile if you sacrifice the short term for a long-term position that you're never going to get.
Simon, is it part of any boardroom's remit to try and change the principles of a manager?
No, it's part of a boardroom's remit to make sure that the manager they get is precisely what they want and what they are recruiting for. And so whilst Amorim, I'm sure there are some of the most convincing hucksters in the world have sold people wonderful things. That's why people are called snake oil salesmen like Eddie Hearn, who does it for a living. Right? In this instance, this guy's come in and sold them a pup, because he wasn't fit for purpose. And the things that he did say, they might have been... I mean, the media loved him. He got a wonderful pass. He even got the Man United fans singing his name whilst they were losing games. Because that was a smoke and mirrors is able to create, because it wasn't him, it was the Glazers. It wasn't the Glazers, it was someone else. Right? The bottom line was, he was unsuccessful. And here he is now, plying his trade at AC Milan.
So for all three of you, and briefly, we're going to hit the bulletin at the top of the hour, where are the bigger question marks in Manchester going into the next season, Alex? Carrick with United, Maresca at City.
Yeah, clearly Carrick with United for the reasons Troy said, because, the main reason he was so successful last season was because they often had 3 weeks to prepare for a game. They're not going to get that with the Champions League. The squad is lacking depth, and I'm not sure they've got the millions of pounds to spend they need to rebuild it. Obviously, it's going to be difficult for Maresca to replace a legend in Guardiola, but the City setup is there for him. Carrick's got to do a lot of the hard yards himself, because I'm still not convinced by the people above him.
And also, very quickly, with Barada, they also sold the wingers. Now, what are they buying this year? They've got to buy wingers. So he's not to blame. He's not to blame for what Amorim did on the pitch, but you also gave him every opportunity.
Look at the wingers that they sold. I mean, I would have driven Garnacho anywhere in the world in a cab myself just to have gotten.
No, I totally agree with that. But the point is, you said you were going down this route because you trusted this manager. You've made things happen. Now you're double backing and getting another guy that plays with wingers, so you have to go and get more wingers to come back in.
I just wonder, Simon, about Barada, when he says things and what the fans might think. On the Glazers, my sense is they're very committed to the club and they're here for the long term.
Well, this is what you get when you want football to run as a business. Football isn't a business. Football is an opportunity for people like me to come in, give his money away and hope that he can hang on for the white knuckles for the next four to come along and buy it off him. Or you've got a business, which is the Glazers, who've turned it into a legitimate business for themselves because they bought it for nothing, cost them nothing to buy it, and they've made loads of money out of it. This is the dynamic. They're committed to what? They're committed to the cause of it being an opportunity for themselves.
Committed to pillorying the club at every possible opportunity.
They're committed to the cause of building of a business. This is a business. This is what a business looks like. You might not like it, and you might not like the optics of it, but that's what you do when you try to treat football as a business. Football is not a business. As much as I advocate for trying to have business disciplines behind it, I've long since realised that it is an opportunity for people to come in, spend as much money as they can because they like the sport, want to be involved in it, want a bit of limelight on them, and then hold on as long as they can till the next bugger comes along and takes it off them.
That comment about the Glazers will go down like a lead balloon with the United fan.
Yeah, I can imagine. Bastian Schweinsteiger, of course, formerly Manchester United, and a very popular player at Man U, was he not, Alex?
Yeah, and I think he still is, because he regularly posts pictures on social media of him sort of in his United shirt watching the game. So yeah, a bit of a cult hero at Old Trafford.
He's got himself in a bit of hot water to a degree at these World Cup finals. He was part of ARD's broadcasting team covering Germany's 2-1 win over the Ivory Coast. This was last week, so this has boiled up over a few days. Schweinsteiger on that occasion said that the Ivory Coast played, quotes, African football. And he followed that up with, can be a bit unorthodox sometimes, a bit wild, not quite as tactical. Not quite as tactical as what? Well, the Ivory Coast manager, Emers Faye, took exception to what Schweinsteiger said. And he said, Schweinsteiger was a very good player. I've always loved him. But he said, I was disappointed in the man when I heard his comments. It is odd he would speak that way. We could call it racist if we were calling a spade, which maybe was an unfortunate choice of words as well. In a statement released by ARD on Schweinsteiger's behalf, Schweinsteiger claimed that he was talking about football, not about people. This is a football analysis, no more and no less. There is no way I wanted to offend someone. The Guardian's football journalist, a man who covers a lot of African football and is covering the World Cup finals with us out here in the US, Osasu Obeyiwana, joined us live from California. Osasu, hi to you. What was your take on what Schweinsteiger said? Was it a poor choice of words?
It was certainly a poor choice of words and in pretty bad taste. I don't like to use the word racism or race being racist because I don't want to cheapen these actions. But I would say that he should speak with some more care next time. If you want to talk about the lack of concentration in African sides or their lack of focus when they are supposed to dominate as they should have dominated against Germany, that I can agree with. I can accept that kind of criticism. But the language he used was just not good. And as I said, it was in bad taste.
I mean, Osasu, the Ivory Coast manager has gone as far as to say we could call it racist. Do you call it racist?
Well, he's entitled to his opinion, and I respect the right to his opinion. I would just say that Sebastian should choose his words a bit more carefully next time. If you want to say a side is not playing properly, they are not playing to a level of tactical maturity that they should, say that plainly rather than playing African football. What does African football mean? What's the definition of that when you use a term like that? It doesn't really make any sense to me.
Simon, what do you make of this row that Schweinsteiger seems to find himself in the middle of?
Well, I mean, look, I don't follow enough African football to see whether there's anything in the observations that he makes that are right or wrong. What I did listen to was Osasu the other day talking about the lack of professionalism and the lack of investment and the lack of structure in African football. So in part, that might find itself visiting itself on the team. To elevate it to racism, there is this use of language that one has to be careful with. But it's like when people were talking about black players back in England, and there was this resistance to saying that when a black player came on, he was fast, because it was a categorisation. It was taking away from the idea that they were intellectually able to be a technically creative player rather than just being fast. And then the other side of that, I would ask someone to describe, how would you describe Usain Bolt? You describe Usain Bolt as fast. It's got nothing to do with his colour. So whilst I think it opens up a conversation about whether he's right in his observations? Is he right in his observations about the quality of African football in terms of its ability to be able to achieve outcomes? And if he's not right, then he should be observed on the fact that his credibility as a pundit is taken to that level rather than extrapolating every conversation that involves certain people of a certain ethnicity as being racist. That's where I become uncomfortable. That if the allegation is about bad punditry, about bad detail, and about bad observations and generalisation, fine. But the moment people start flinging around racism because it's a default setting, everyone recoils, and all of a sudden that person is no longer valid anymore because you're hearing the opinions of a so-called racist.
Yeah, Troy, is that fair? Osasu, I'll come to you in a second. Is that fair? What would you say about this?
Yeah, I thought it was just poor from Schweinsteiger in the language used. I think when he's trying to say tactical or African, they played an African way, I was listening to it a little bit more on the way in, and it's more. So it seemed to me that he didn't have an understanding of. He's basically trying to say you should think the way we play, the way that the Germans did it, the way the teams I did it. It's like. Well, actually, they have a very good tactical base. If you watch Ivory Coast properly, they have a very good tactical base. They are very, very aware of playing down the wings. Now, do they control games and moments better? Could they do that better? Absolutely. But tactically, they are very, very aware.
There is a European way, there is a British way, there's a South American way. So if you turn around and say the British way is, we always say that the British way in the Premier League is, you know, very physical and very competitive, and no one takes offence at that.
No one takes exception to that. No. What's your take on it, Alex?
Yeah, I agree with the guys. I think he could have been cleverer with the way he worded it, but I don't think he was trying to be racist. And I think the Ivory Coast are quite a good team, to be honest. I've been quite impressed with him at this tournament, so I'm slightly surprised he's been so disparaging.
Osasa, I'll come back to you in a second. So Ivory Coast, according to Schweinsteiger, played African football, a bit unorthodox at times, a bit wild, not quite as tactical. Interestingly, not long after that, some members of the media turned to another German, Jurgen Klopp, for his observations on it. This is Klopp.
Schweinsteiger, you know how he's an ARD expert, so he used words.
And now you want to carry on this subject. No, I have no chance. I have no chance to answer this question. Everybody likes it. So you bring me in a situation. It's not my job that everybody likes it, but this is a serious subject. And I don't even know what is appropriate to say. For African people is one thing, for other people is another thing, and I'm not here. Thank God, I thought nobody asked me about that. You found a moment, and surprisingly, you are German. That surprised me so much. Thank you very much.
No. Osasu, over in California, were those reporters right to put that to Klopp? Was it relevant to ask him?
I suppose yes, but I can totally understand why Jurgen Klopp didn't want to touch it. Don't forget that he had an incident in the past where he was the subject of being accused of being racist. And it wasn't a funny experience for him. So I'm not surprised that the moment that question was put to him, he decided to go in the other direction. He wanted none of it.
Osasu, thank you for joining us as always. Before you leave us, what about Cape Verde? Over on this side of the US, it's a huge story. No doubt the coverage is pretty blanket over there too.
Well, I told you.
You told us, right?
I told you guys that any team that underrates Cape Verde will do it to their peril. And it has been to Uruguay's peril, and they're out. Okay, they're going to be playing the world champions. That's a dream game for Cape Verde, and no one gives them a chance in hell. But I'll tell you this. A team that has nothing to lose play with an unfettered mind. And an opponent that plays with an unfettered mind can be very dangerous.
Excellent. Osasu Obeyuana, Guardian football journalist over on the other side of the country this morning, over in Los Angeles. Thank you so much for joining us.
I don't think a long throw is the best weapon in this Canadian artillery.
Yeah, just again predictable from Canada. You know, when they look forward, they're all in the same passing lanes. They need a little bit of movement.
Maseka. And Bats on the move forward now. It's Larea who's there defending with him. There's been a high foot there, so the referee giving a free kick.
South Africa get themselves forward, but can't make anything of it. Yeah, as far as Canada are going forward, opposite movement in front of the player with the ball. One drop, one go beyond. Just try and create 1v1s in that final third, because they've got the players to win any of those duels. Again, just a bit predictable.
We've been on the move over the past few weeks throughout this World Cup, but of the three co-hosts who all advanced beyond the group stage, which do you foresee perhaps as the one who may go the deepest at this World Cup this summer?
Well, I mean, it all depends, I think, on the backing of the home crowd. Canada have lost that now. USA have still got it. Mexico have still got it. We're going down to Mexico City, which will be absolutely crazy, I'm sure, but you can just use that momentum. You probably look at Mexico. The USA fans won't be happy about that. Canada got stuff to do today. So, yeah, sitting on the fence, Joe.
Yeah, Mexico who take on Ecuador. Beyond that, they may well face England at the Azteca in the round of 16. The USA are in the Bay Area, south of San Francisco, for their next match against Bosnia, which will be a tough one. And Bosnia, we've seen, have some wonderful backing at this World Cup. Began a few weeks ago with that South African defeat in Mexico. And the following day, the USA who thumped Paraguay here by 4-1. And the World Cup really began to captivate the Americans off the back of that. It's a yellow card shown by the referee for the first time in the game. And it's been brandished to Nathan Saliba of Canada.
Yeah, Mudau did really well there. It's just something different from one of the teams. Grab this game by the scruff of the neck. Something individual, and it does all point to the bench, doesn't it, as we go along. The players on the bench that can change this game, do something a little bit different. That moment of magic needed by both teams. I'm surprised. That's that first yellow card.
Yeah.
There have been some tough challenges.
World Cup, which has seen no lack of red cards. 10 and counting.
Canada don't go and press the goalkeeper because he's so good with his feet. They're just a bit worried that one stepping up and pressing will just break all the structure.
Sitobe. Nice move here by South Africa. Here's a Polis. And Maseko. Can he find a way through? Magopa. It's a bit heavy there for Mudau, but kept in by him.
It's a great move to beat Canada's press. Brilliant. Right from the goalkeeper, they just couldn't finish it off. The story of their game so far.
Modiba. Bats in the box. Well held by Crepo. That's what the playing out from the back, that patient play is all about,
yes,
to create moments like that in transition.
Yeah, just try and bait the Canada players forward, and then as soon as you start moving 1 and 2 touch, yes, it's a risk, but when you get it right, it does look good and it gets you in the areas you need to be.
It's a foul given against Maseko. Just the one game for Gianni Infantino today.
He gets around really quickly from game to game.
Worry here for Canada because it's Stefan Eustáquio who is down. He was the captain for the first couple of games, then came off the bench in the last match, but captain again today, back in from the start. See a bang there at the back of the head, isn't it? That flailing leg of Maseko just caught him. First half, he created 4 chances in the game, which is the most by any Canadian player out there.
Just needs a bit more quality in the areas that matter. Canada. Jesse Marshall with a little bit to think about.
I think we are going to see a change coming up because Nico Sigor, he strips off down beneath us. Tight turnaround for these fans to get here. Many Canadian fans have come south. Of course, relation not exactly harmonious on the political level between themselves and their host today. It's been a very mixed crowd for every game here in Los Angeles at the World Cup, and no hint of any aggro between the fans. It's been all the better for the camaraderie amongst the supporters.
You see shirts of every single country, different clubs from all over the world, and the atmosphere is extremely friendly, buoyant. Yeah, it's good to see.
It's almost felt more like going to a rugby game. Very convivial as we see a double change now at half-time. Or just in the second half, rather, from Jesse March. A change in that defence where Bombito goes off and Luc de Fougerolles comes on. And in midfield too, where Saliba is replaced by Sigor. So Eustáquio can carry on. In a game which needs a spark. He was part of the Belgium squad that reached the World Cup semi-final 40 years ago in Mexico, when they're beaten by the eventual champions Argentina. He retires at the end of the World Cup campaign for South Africa. Could that be today? David. In goes Sigor, then Eustáquio. Mither. Forward by Mbats. And the referee there in the way, so the referee has stopped it, much to the annoyance of Cornelius.
It's a superb step in there, Joe. The referee recognises his role in that, but great nick from Cornelius.
An hour gone. And the nearest we come to a goal were those few moments of concern for South Africa in first half stoppage time. And again, the boos ring down as South Africa play a very slow game. Waiting for that press, which isn't coming. Played straight out then by Ronwen Williams. Mokoena, excellent tackle by de Fougerolles. He did start every group game. London born, just 20 years of age. Joined Fulham when he was just 8. Spent this season away on loan playing in Belgian football. Won by Williams. De Fougerolles wins the header. Here's Modiba. Bukazi, Sitobe, Mudau, there's Mbat, the half-time sub, came off the Fougerolles, it's come to Apovis, he's always veering away.
There hasn't been many of those moments where it's opened right up for South Africa. Again, It's too easy from a Canada point of view for the ball to get to a Polis on that left-hand side. It's always moving away from the goal.
He's a domestic champion with his club side this season, South Africa. Orlando Pirates scored 12 goals for them. It's a game that needs a goal here. Hugo Broos' side scored just twice in the group stage. One of those was a penalty. Canadians scored 8 times. Flick back there by Mokoena. Stakuya. There's David. Coming deep and linking play. And finding Nico Sigur. Looking for Buchanan. Can't quite get there. It's good covering by Mbakazi.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Canada, they're expansive enough. They've got good starting positions when they've got it, when they haven't got it, but just lack the bravery to have that out and out width, create 1v1s, take risks. And don't quite have the confidence to just be that little bit braver.
Another Johnson long throw coming up. And again, Cornelius in that near post area. Goes beyond here, won by Sitole. That's Sigur. Larea. This time Williams goes early.
It's a ball.
Mokoena.
It's good from the goalkeeper. The last few times he's had it, he's taken his time. Canada allowed a little bit of a lapse.
See Alphonso Davies there. Wonder whether we'll see him coming off the bench. Sigur. Good move here. There might be a chance for Canada. Save came in, then turned away. Oh, that's heroic defending. It was Mokoena who was back there.
I mean, the pace of Olo O'Shea here, brilliant. And the Canada forward, goalkeeper, but that is so important. Making sure you get the block in, get there first.
It's Mbakazi who's there with
Brilliant.
that.
He's been very good, Mbakazi, I have to say, defensively.
Yeah, goal-saving intervention there by Mbakazi. As the game opened up for a moment. And now a corner for Canada, which Eustaquio will take. He was there to be attacked soon. It was to Fougerolles, not long off the bench, who couldn't keep it down. Never scored a senior goal for club or country before.
I think it was Johnston that ran across first, but this is the run. Look at that pace. I think he struggled at times in this game, O'Shea, but it's a great move forward. Again, they've not done that too many times, Canada, getting behind South Africa.
Big save there by Williams and supported by defenders behind him too. Mr. Fougerolles. Now Johnston. Sejan Buchanan. Low towards Olo O'Shea. Ocon covering for South Africa. Buchanan. This is Sigur. It's a foul then. That might be a card too for Sigur. He knew what he was doing to try and stop a promising breakaway.
Yeah, just a waste from Canada. Got the ball in a really good position out wide with Buchanan. Probably inequality, a little bit too cautious from Canada for me. The opportunity's there for them.
Fans here demanding entertainment. Well, we have a stoppage in play now for our second half hydration break. And don't forget, we have so much to look forward to in terms of knockout football coming your way this week, so make a note of the upcoming game. One more change available before the end of regulation time, but they can make one more in extra time. A Schaffelberg on by Promise David. Jonathan David was chasing it. Well, no relation, by the way, those two. Down goes Seko, wins a free kick for South Africa.
And the really impressive thing about South Africa, they can all deal with the ball. This system suits them. You see at times they've passed so well through Canada. Just need that end bit.
Maybe a cagey watch for the neutrals, but you can be sure that every fan of these two nations are watching intently. Back at home, Could there be a chance here? No, not quite. Johnston put in there in front of Mokoena. There's the Raya. Can't get beyond Maseko.
He'll be really happy with his team so far. Steady, they're defending well.
Here's Buchanan. Foul on Madiba. Foul by Sigor, who's on a yellow card. He was booked just moments ago. Got to be careful.
Jesse Marsh wants his team to be active, aggressive in duels, but sometimes it can step over the line. Would not want a red card at this stage. Canada, any sort of disadvantage. Onus on South Africa.
Williams, the keeper, in no hurry. He's a goalkeeper known to be an expert. He went all the way to a shootout. Some way from that at the moment, but if he gets that far, he could be a very useful man to have for South Africa. Long ball forward there by Mbas. Taken down by Aponis. On by Sitobe. Cross towards Madan, kept in play by him, it's Maseko. And that's too high, it was a bending effort, but never dipping in time.
They've got that right a few times, South Africa. Yes, the crowd are jeering them, but play a few short passes and then one longer one that beats Canada's press. And all of a sudden, they outnumber Canada at the other end, and Canada have to recover, but that's the bit they can't quite get right.
Well, the time has come then for Alphonso Davies to enter this World Cup for the first time. Tejon Buchanan taken off. He is the poster boy of Canadian football. He's had a glittering career, playing for Bayern Munich over the years. 13 major trophies there, 7 league titles, 1 Champions League, 2. He wins his first cap for 15 months. He had a hamstring injury playing for Bayern in a Champions League semi-final match only 8 weeks ago. But now here he is at the World Cup for his national team.
Such a shame that he hasn't been fit for the whole of it. A star player for Canada, coming back from injury. Just need to be very careful with him. He obviously isn't fully fit, otherwise he'd have started this game like Jesse Marsh intimated that he would do.
It's got the captain's armband too. Can he be the man to find something, a point of difference between these two teams in Los Angeles? 15 to go now for the stop and shine. There is Davis. Promise David! Well, straight away, an impact made by Alphonso Davies, a piercing pass forward there.
Yeah, putting the ball at risk is something that Davies can do. Didn't really get the power on this, but he looked like he had the accuracy. Promise David sort of scuffed at it, but nearly, but not quite. But that's more positive for Canada.
Promise David scored 24 goals a couple of campaigns ago for Union Saint-Gilloise in Belgium. Scored in his debut for the Canadian national team 2 years ago. Scored 1 goal at this World Cup coming off the bench. Davis. Excellent close control. Johnston. Here's the Fougerolles. Promise David. Davis. Sent forward by Modau. Johnston has to win that. He does. Johnston. Now Eustachio. Cornelius. Davis. Eustachio. Davies again. Poked it through. Jonathan David. Tight angle. Williams was there. And then turned away by Ocon.
The strings have been pulled by Davies now. It's amazing the effect one player has on the team's confidence in the final third.
You really see how he's been able to elevate the whole game. Davies again. It's turned away by Ocon. For a South African team which is looking a bit weary at the moment. They've only made one change so far in the game.
Nice better movement from Canada. Opposite movement. One comes to the ball, one goes beyond, and not dealing with that yet. South Africa.
Cornelius. Now Eustachio.
I do think if South Africa put pressure on the back four of Canada, that, you know, like Switzerland did, it can cause problems. Not taking that sort of risk yet. But they do look strong when they get bodies forward, South Africa.
Hey, Toby! Move, Toby! You can hear Jesse Marsh there, demanding some movement. Eustachio. Johnston. Sigur. It's bouncing off Jonathan David. De Fougeron. Davies. Can't quite link up with the Raya. Sigur. Bounced off Sitobe. Davis. Eustachio. Now Cornelius. Loose by Eustachio. And then likewise, the South African player and bat to give the ball away.
They just need to give the ball to Davies. He's the one with the quality. Canada getting the ball in the box from there.
Did score a World Cup goal 4 years ago in Qatar. Johnston on the move and right back. Davies lurking there towards the back post, but didn't quite come his way. A Pobis now for South Africa. Modiba. Was a foul there. By Schaffelberg.
Nice little ball from Davies. That's the big chance, could save Williams in the end. Trying to just sneak it in that near post.
He has been the busier of the two goalkeepers. 11 attempts on goal now from Canada. Johnston. Promise David. Up against Ocon. Jonathan David was up there with him, but the two players there couldn't link up together. Somewhat still enjoying it. I think fair to say that the upcoming games in the week ahead may well contain a bit more drama than this one, but key moments of this game are still yet to come. There has to be a winner somehow. Here's Eustachio. Promised David. We're back now for South Africa. To Fugero. Nico Sigel. Looking for Schaffelberg. He played the ball inside there, but Promised David, I don't think was expecting it. Oh, lost there by Maseko. Alphonso Davies. Took two there to cover and stop him.
Mudau has been brilliant. Both ways, defending and getting himself up the pitch. And both teams giving it away, and it adds to the lack of spectacle.
Well, on my notes here, only one big chance in the second half. That one when Oluwaseyi went sprinting forward. Good save by Williams. He had his defender Mbakasi behind him to clear it away too. Here's Magopa. On by Mbat. Apovis. Oswin Apovis. And Crepo has to make a smart save there.
They need more of that, South Africa. They've got the players. Shots on target, they haven't had enough of them.
Schaffelberg now. Jonathan David, Schaffelberg. Turned out by Mudau. Mudau now the chance to move forward. And will he take it out there? No, referee says get up again. No foul given. Eustachio for Canada. Davies. Can't manoeuvre a way through there. Here's Sissobe. Break on again for South Africa. Nice play by Apolis. He's coming alive late on. And he wins his team a free kick. Couple of changes now for South Africa. Tepang Maremi is coming on, along with Ikram Reyners. Maremi a quick and direct winger. And Reyners more of a focal point style centre forward. Evidence Magopa, he is going off for South Africa. It's Sepebo Maseko, whose winning goal in the previous match against South Korea got them here, is also departing. Apolis. Flicked away by the Fugero. Header on by David. It was well taken by Schaffelberg, couldn't quite get away though.
Schaffelberg's done well since he's come on, but his final pass or cross has been poor, but he's a willing runner. I mean, both teams are so organised, everybody knows the roles, but it doesn't leave enough wriggle room for a bit of flair. That's what we need.
This is Eustachio. By Sigel. moments of inspiration have been lacking badly so far in the game. As it stands, we would head for extra time. Davis, Eustachio. Davies on the cutback, he is poor. 4 players there waiting for a ball in, and we expect far better from Alphonso Davies. Here's Reyners. Mbat. Back from Apollos. To Mudan.
Neither team want to make a mistake to lose it at this stage, but somebody could be a late hero here.
Sigo. Just kept in by Madiba. Apollos gets beyond Eustachio. Played a good pass too. In came to Fougerolles. Got there just in front of Reyners. And now it's a free kick for Canada as Cornelius went down.
It's really been poor. It's got worse in attacking areas this game, both teams. I don't know if it's because it's so hot in here. It's like a greenhouse, but just a lack of quality.
Yeah, it's been warming up and becoming more humid as the day has gone on. One of these teams has that prize of a last 16 place there to try and grasp. But they're both going about it in a pretty cautious way. South Africa not winning many fans. They won't care if this brings about a moment, that big chance to win the game for them. Five minutes by way of stoppage time to come. To Fougerolles. Jonathan David. It's a bit short that for Davies. To Fougerolles. There's Sigel, Schappelberg, Ocon with the header, it's Eustachio! A new hero may well be born for Canada! Stoppage time! Stefan Eustachio with their first ever knockout goal at the World Cup Finals. And could that be their winner?
Well, this game has been crying out for that one bit of quality in front of goal. One pass, one finish, and they've certainly got it now. We've waited a long time. Canada have been really loose in possession, but it's about the quality of this final strike. Eustachio brilliant into the corner, wasn't cleared by South Africa. It hasn't been a game of passes. but it just needed quality. And they've got it from Canada. They've just nicked it at the end.
And Jesse March can enjoy the moment now.
Well, this will be interesting. South Africa throw themselves forward now.
Here's the Fougerolles with the header. In a tie which was meandering towards extra time. We've had the breakthrough, and will it be enough for Canada?
That's why we needed a goal, Joe, because as soon as the goal comes, the other team have to come out.
The player who began the match as the Canadian captain. With the opening goal of this last 32 tie. His 5th goal for the national team. The man who plays here in LA, he moved to California 4 months ago at club level. The difference maker here. Here's Promise David now moving forward. Back goes Mbakazi.
Now there's the urgency from South Africa. They have to give everything forward in the next couple of minutes.
Offside given there as the Canadian fans have found their voice and they're on their feet now around this stadium.
Joy and relief for Canada fans. That's what it feels like. And that's what it feels like.
Special moments for Canada. Their first taste of World Cup knockout football, and their campaign may yet go on. South Africa could become just the second African team to bid farewell to this World Cup unless they can hit back now. Time against them, one back there by Schaffelberg. Anywhere will do for him.
I reckon Williams might not be as slow here with the ball at the goalkeeper for South Africa. No.
See the referee there indicating there'll be 1 minute to play at least. Is there to be a chance for Mbakazi? Turned away by Cornelius. Here's Sitobe. Play wide by and back. If you're stuck with it, it's become a bit of an eventful finale. Is there one more twist still yet to come? Here's Mudo. Now Apolis. Cornelius won the header. Referee checks the watch, but no whistle yet. Long by Mudo. Came off Schaffelberg, throw for South Africa. This is the last chance now. In by and bats, out comes Crepeau, and he gathers safely, and that should be that.
It's Crepeau's turn to take his time. The goalkeeper for Canada.
Well, this may be the end then of Hugo Broos's long coaching career. Retirement beckons for him. But the last 16 beckons for the Canadians. The co-hosts who came south today continue their World Cup party. Jesse March's team prevailed in California. And a stoppage time goal that sent them through from Stefan Eustachio. The fans were made to wait for a moment's equality, a match-winning moment. And finally it came. And Canada are the first team in the last 16 of the World Cup.
You make one mistake.
Yeah.
And the clearance, heading the ball back, we teach this at 8 years old. When you head a ball, you head it back where it's coming from. You don't head it to the middle of the field. And if you're going to head it to the middle of the field, it's got to go up so it gives you time for your team to go out. He line drives it to the middle field, and Eustáquio says, thank you, we're going through. You know, that's 10 goals, by the way, for MLS players in this World Cup. But you can't head a ball at this level to the top of the box where there's a player standing by himself.
It was a great finish, technically as well. You know, the first touch, and then just to how many times do we see people hit that volley because the ball's bouncing up? Everything he wants to go up, or you slice it, but he kept his body over it, waited for it to drop a little bit, and it's a wonderful technique. And a game truly fitting of showing that quality, isn't it? To be in a knockout stage, one moment of poor clearance, as you allude to, 100%, but one moment of real quality, and they win. And again, Jesse Marsch will probably be talking about, yes, we're through, it's great. He has to figure out the strikers. Again, my eyes keep going to it, and I keep.
He made all the subs, and Kyle Larin was still on the bench. So either something's wrong, or maybe he's not 100%. Because that's weird. You're 0-0 with even 20 minutes ago. You got to think to yourself, Kyle Larin, don't you?
Yeah, I would have. But you know, Promise Davis does a lot of running around, and he's big and he's strong. But just that quality to just be calm and hit the target. Yeah, really. Yeah. I think Canada can cause people problems because of the way they press, because of the high intensity, now the quality of Alphonso Davies. But they're going to be the South Africa in the next game if they get Holland. You're going to have one or two chances. You have to finish. And too many times I've watched Jonathan David now, and the game passes him by.
Yeah.
For the talent that he's got and the ability that he's got, there's so many large periods of the game when you don't even know he's on the pitch. So I just wonder for Canada moving forward how they can address that. Maybe it is Kyle Larin's hold something, and then you have to bring him in on the next game. But
it doesn't matter. Look, we all got it one right. One for one.
Yes.
One for one.
He's one for one to your bracket. One to your bracket.
Can we stop now?
We're done. We're geniuses. But Marcelo, we were talking about it before the game. I'd be curious now that they have won. It wasn't at home because they couldn't get to this knockout stage as the host of this round of 32 match. If they won the group, they would have done. They win in Los Angeles. But for Canada, for the fact that they had not won a game at the World Cup before this tournament, what is the significance of this achievement in your mind?
No, this is huge for, we'll just say for Canada, for CONCACAF, because every time we go into the World Cup, people don't look at CONCACAF as, oh, it's a CONCACAF team. It's not that difficult. You know what I mean? So I think that if you look at CONCACAF in general, this was a great victory for CONCACAF, for Canada. Always more difficult playing on a neutral side, even though it was a little bit more home for them. You could feel the fans. But at the end of the day, listen, any win is a huge win when you're in the knockout phase. So you've got to do, I told you before, they were going to grind it out, they're going to be mentally tough, and they were going to push to the limits. And that's exactly what they did. And I mean, quality came, like Troy said, the quality came at the right time, at the right place to put this game away from their captain, from their leader. He put the ball away. But I hope this is that one game where Canada doesn't play well, you know, and still was able to win that game, and they get better. Because you play like this against either Morocco or Holland, you're done. You got to be able to bring more than just that. To me, it was very predictable, very long over the top. They couldn't play through until Alphonso Davies came in, then a little bit to the outside, but it was very direct today. And I think that both teams will eat that up.
Yeah, also turn the ball over an awful lot in midfield. Again, that's an area of the pitch that if you control the midfield, you control the game, with or without the ball. And I thought both times, on both sides of the ball, Canada were pretty poor in midfield. I know captain ends up scoring, so to most people, who cares? But when you watch football and you've played as many years as we have, you start to understand, okay, you can win this game, but this can't continue in this pattern if we want to be successful. But listen, they got the job done. Yeah. We were a few minutes away from going off extra time, penalties, and thinking, you know, how long is this day actually going to be? But ultimately, got the job done, and they're through. It's historical for them. I think to the start of this, they hadn't won a point. Now they're in quarterfinals.
Round of 16.
Round of 16. Sorry, round of 16, then the quarterfinals, because we had another round in because no one else wanted to work anymore. But you know, I just think it's a massive moment for them, and you saw the reactions of some of their crowd. This could have a massive positive effect on Canadian football for the next 20 years. This could be the US's 94. You know, when you see you guys and what you guys did, so okay, I could achieve that. Oh, okay, I can do that. And because those games, not today, but the games before were played in Canada, you'll have a next 20-year generation of people going, I want to be that. So it's fantastic for football all around the world.
But you hit it on the head earlier, right? You said about England, doesn't matter how they play now.
Yeah,
they just got to win.
Get the job done.
And that's what Canada did. Listen, in our region hosting a World Cup, what it's going to do for Liga MX and Mexican soccer, what Mexico's doing now, is going to be historical. Canada doing the same thing. Right now, this is a historian year for them because of the fact that they're winning. They're getting in. They're lighting up their country. Everybody's looking at soccer now. So now in the United States, imagine you beat Bosnia. Imagine what that win is going to do for this country, putting them into the round of 16. You know what I mean? We've been waiting 32 years for the World Cup to come, and now it's here. Now we have to take full advantage of it, just like Canada does, just like Mexico does. This is huge for our region, not just the Americas, we're going to say here. This is going to be huge for CONCACAF.
Just to that point, sorry to interrupt, just for that point, do you have to play a big team? So you guys end up playing Brazil. Do you have to just the win or how far you get?
Furthest we've ever gotten is a quarterfinal, right? Yeah. That's what we're hoping to get to, right?
I think you'd also say that the U.S. are probably at a different stage of their development than Canada are, right? I think for the U.S. beating a big team is a big part of this. For Canada, I think getting to the last 16 was probably the goal.
No, but I was just going to say, because Canada now can play, Morocco or the Netherlands. I think for, again, the bigger picture, they play in Holland and having a good game against a historically great nation would do more for them than losing to Morocco.
This win is already huge. This win is huge. They got out of the group. That's huge for Canada because this is their third World Cup, I believe it is, somewhere in there. Yeah. And now they won their very first knockout game. This is fantastic for Canada. If this was in Canada, that place would be going crazy right now. The stadium would be packed. The whole team would be running around the stadium. They would be enjoying that victory. So just like the U.S., we've gotten out of the group and we lost. Winning against Bosnia is huge for us. Taking it into that next step, the round of 16. Then whatever happens from there, we'll see what happens. But a historical run for this country is needed for the United States, and if we're trying to keep growing the sport.
Okay. The U.S. and Canada took big swings with their managerial hires. The U.S. had to get some added help to get Pochettino. Canada, the Canadian Soccer Association, actually went to the 3 Canadian MLS clubs asking for money to help bring in a higher-level coach. They went with Jesse Marsch. What do you think this would mean for him in terms of his level of achievement? He's obviously such a character on the sidelines. He's a bit of a polarizing character. But for him, this is, I would suggest, vindication for his approach and how he's gone about the job.
Listen, there's no vindication. Things happen in jobs. Somebody offers you a job, it doesn't work out. I don't think there's bitterness anymore. I think he just needs to coach Canada, to be honest with you. He's doing such a nice job. They're doing something that they've never done in their history. So the whole thing about Jesse Marsch to the United States, yes, it would have been great, yes, but U.S. soccer went in a different direction. So that's over and done with. He's been with Canada now for, 2 years now, 3 years? He just got his contract extended. So at the end of the day, you're the Canadian coach, man. You should be enjoying this moment, not worrying about your next job. You've got to worry about pushing this group as far as they can go. And then you start looking at the next generation of kids that are starting to come up that can help, because you're going to have a rotation of players, players going in, players coming out. You've got to find that next under 20, the next 17, developing that youth to keep developing this team, because this team is at a point now where, we can say it's their golden generation, and now they're proving it, but where's the next generation coming from?
Yeah, and to that point, I think it's vindication for him as a coach, because we understand, very smart. I think Grella was saying, he's a Princeton guy, so he understands, life and people. Yeah. But also, every now and again, you get a job that fits you, a club that fits you, a country that fits you. And you could just see the intensity that he demands. these Canadian players are like, okay, we know the message. I'll run for a wall for you, no problem at all. They're winning everything now, and you've just spoke about obviously being American and that little issue. If they beat Holland or Morocco, there'll be a statue outside. Yeah, he's American. He's been very, very good. Again, I saw him briefly when he was at Leeds and saw what he did there, and I liked his principles. I liked what he stood for. But sometimes, and he's not the only coach, but we saw it like with Wilfred Nancy. Sometimes understanding the UK media is very, very difficult because it's all about win now. And I think his philosophy and the way he's grown as a coach over the last 5 to 10 years has been fantastic. And yeah, I like it. I still, again, one critique, I want to see them control a game. I want to see them in moments of the game when it's transition, go, oh, we just need a few minutes to catch our breath here, catch our bearings. But maybe, and again, I don't know Jesse Marsch, maybe that's where he's saying, signs a new contract. We've won now, we've got the foundation. That's what we build on for the next World Cup. Now we start to identify players in the U20s that can do that.
Yeah, but there's coaches that are built to coach national teams. They're not with their kids every day. They're not with their players every day. And there's guys that are built to coach club teams. They want to coach every day. When you look at Jesse, I think Jesse's built to coach national teams, only because his message of how he bites, you can't have that for a full year. Players get, they get drained. It's emotionally draining. So I think when you talk about a national team and you find a coach, I think this is a great fit for Jesse, coaching national teams, because then he loves working with the youth. He loves going out and scouting. He loves looking for other players. So I always look at there's two different types of coaches, club coach and a national team coach. And I think Jesse's he's done a great job with Canada.
And they get it done. And one of the things that you guys mentioned earlier was the performance of Alphonso Davies when he came on. We kind of wanted to show you sort of graphically the way that the game may or may not have changed when he came on. Let's take a look at the momentum chart that we have from this match. And guys, you just kind of talked about sort of a different sort of
They're all tough games. He's going to say that, and he's not going to say anything different than that, isn't he? End of the day, they didn't perform very well, did they? They won the game. They got through to the next round, brilliant. It wasn't if they were free-flowing football. Panama had about 13 shots against England yesterday. They actually created chances themselves, which is a bit of a worry. You know what I mean, for that side of it. But they weren't free-flowing. He's not going to say anything different, is he?
No. Well, the thing is, though, I think England fans watching at home are probably going to lose a little bit of confidence, Kaz, that this is a team that can go deep in this competition. Do you think, or do you not agree?
I think we're a team that are built on athleticism, and we're going to run over teams. And when we don't have that space, or we don't have maybe, like I said yesterday to you, we don't have that creative little 10, that little jinxer. Our 10 is Jude, and Jude is amazing, but Jude is an athletic animal, and I love that, and I'm not knocking him. He's our best player at the moment for me. But it's someone that, a little jinxer that can open something up a little bit creative. We don't have that in our armoury.
That's why I like the Morgan Rogers move, but he weren't on the ball enough, didn't get turned enough, because when Morgan Rogers, when he gets turned, he's dangerous. He has an eye for goal, he's brave, he'll try stuff, but couldn't get him on the ball enough yesterday.
No, I don't like the 3 centre-backs approach. No, against Panama. 3 centre-backs, come on. Yeah. Get a full-back in there, get yourself a bit of width.
Don't have one, though.
He should have picked one, shouldn't he? He should have picked one, shouldn't he?
That's the conversation, though, Duncan. That's the conversation.
Yeah, it is. We don't have time to have that one as well. As for Scotland, 1 win and 1 goal wasn't enough to secure their spot in the knockout stages as a best third-place finisher. Here's Connie McLaughlin with the latest news.
Three weeks ago, Steve Clarke arrived here in Charlotte telling us he was a very different manager from the one that we saw at Euro 2024. But now, after another early group stage exit from a competition, his 7-year reign as manager is over. There was genuine belief this World Cup could become
Michael, he's a Hull City fan, right,
Mikey?
Gentlemen, good evening. How are we?
All right, Mike. How are you?
I'm not bad, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Go on. What do you want to say?
Just obviously about the football we've seen so far by England. Now, let's be real. We've had a fantastic 45 minutes against Croatia, second half.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, it's been passive, predictable, and from the back, it's just not working. Now, last night, or when he had Kwanzaa at right back, he looked scared to even put a challenge in.
He did.
And then on the opposite side, Riley's coming in, filling the void in midfield, but it's too many blocks in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
And like, when you look at O'Reilly and Kwanzaa, not once did they overlap the wingers to give them an option. It was just insane to see. Bear in mind, this is Panama we're watching. It's not as if we're playing Brazil.
No, I agree. Two people I instantly think of, and this is what I know we do this a lot because you always think about what you haven't got. And I look at Lewis Hall and Cole Palmer. Trent, 100%. Obviously, as well, right? Trent, for me, I just can't believe he's not there, right? Just because of what I'm watching with England. But, like, them players, width, unlock a defence. You know, and I just think there's players there who are sat on the bench, and I'm just like, I'm looking at it going, what's the point of you being there? What's the point?
Exactly.
You're offering nothing.
No, but it's not that as well. But the thing as well, Jamie, it's the balance as well, because not having like even like Lewis Hall. I mean, he knows that role back of his hand. Having O'Reilly in there. Look, for City, he's doing brilliant. But in that system at City, they rotate the ball a lot more than what we do as England. It's a completely different setup. And when he comes into that midfield, Kane's coming deep. They're standing at each other's toes. It's ridiculous.
It was, honestly, I was watching it last night, mate, and I was like, we might as well play Harry Kane as a number 10 and play Ollie Watkins up front. That's what, because there was literally no runs in behind. No one. Everyone wants the ball to feet. There was no runs in behind. It was so congested. Harry Kane was pointless him trying to get in a hole because there was literally no space. So you might as well take a player out of there to try and give him space. But that's
the only way.
Look, we win the game, then it's like, you know, we can all sit here and talk about it. We won the game, but I just think
I think there also needs to be a bit of a balance here about the opposition and what they're trying to do. And credit to both them and Ghana. They made life difficult for us. They made life really difficult for us.
Everyone's going to make it difficult.
But I don't know whether they will, Jay. I think that's the point I'm trying to make, is that I think the further you go into this competition, that the sides will set up based on what their strengths are as opposed to stopping us. I think they'll go, don't care about who you are. This is how we're going to play. And Panama have got that. They played a 4-3-3 and a 5-4-1. That's the formation they played in this tournament. Ghana, we knew what Ghana were going to do, and we failed to break them down. We got through. We topped the group. Can we have a little bit of positivity here, right? I know, because I saw the game as well. But we topped the group, right? We now have Congo on Wednesday afternoon,
and then Mexico,
right? Well, let's we'll see. But look, we've done the job. We ticked the box, right? No one's going to care in 3 years' time or 6 months' time if we manage to go on and do something this tournament. No one's going to care about that.
No, of course not. But it's about, you know, finding solutions during a tournament.
Yeah, and I think we've struggled. There's no question about that. It's no coincidence that the game that we played the best football in, second half against Croatia, was a side that was prepared to come on to us.
Yeah.
It's no coincidence.
No. All right, Mike, thanks for your call. Let's go to Anthony. He's a Man United fan. All right, Ant?
All right, Ant?
Hi, boys. Okay?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I just wanted to pick up on your point, what you were saying before, though, for like Palmer missing out on Foden and having someone to unlock the bench, unlock the defence. Sorry, I think we're all missing the point of like Kobbie Mainoo, who's not kicked the ball. I think he could be the man. Why is he not playing? I think.
But he made. I kind of got what he did last night. He dropped Bellingham back, and put on another number 10, Morgan Rogers. Like I got that. Bellingham was brilliant, right? You can't get away from the fact that Bellingham was our best player. So, do you need Kobbie Mainoo? You don't need Kobbie Mainoo.
I disagree. I think you do. I think you just been saying over when in them tight areas, someone who's got a little bit of magic, someone who keeps the ball really, really well. I think Mainoo's better than Rodgers in that position. I think I personally last night would rather. I think Mainoo's better than Rodgers at unlocking the defence, finding that key pass.
What, as a number 10?
I think he can do that. I think even if he's playing as a number 8, he can do that and push on and have that licence. We've seen it at United. He can take players on in the box, create something, score a goal from time to time. I think he would have been better there if he was going to do that and play Bellingham a bit deeper.
I am surprised that we haven't seen Kobbie Mainoo actually throughout this, because I kind of agree with what you're saying, that the games, who is that player that can go pick a pass? There ain't many in that midfield. Bellingham, right. But other than that, Kobe's the next one. Isn't he the next one? You feel, who's the one that can unlock in tight defence? And the game against second half against Ghana, you and I had this conversation. Just like, I wonder whether it might be someone to bring someone a bit different, someone that had a little bit of variety to their passing. And Kobe, he does tick that box, but
Kobbie Mainoo ain't playing.
No, I mean, no.
Declan Rice is going to be back.
No, not starting. But I think to come on and if a game is tight, like against Ghana,
change the game.
I think the Ghana game. I think there's an argument. Yeah, I think there's an argument.
Maybe.
He ain't starting though. I agree. He's not in the position to start right now. But to come on and make a difference, I'm surprised that we've not, or certainly not, had the indication that he might have a role.
Who else is there? Madueke. Gordon, Manu, Watkins, Tony.
Are you? Yeah,
I'm talking about attacking prowess.
That Rodgers, Bellingham, Rashford, Gordon.
I do feel like we're missing something.
Well, yeah,
I feel like there's something
we're a little bit, kind of a little bit samey.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? We're all a bit Saka and Madueke, similar type of players.
Mm-hmm.
Rashford, Gordon's not as good as Rashford. Eze's another one that could. Eze's another one, but then you go Rodgers, Bellingham. Kind of, don't know if there's enough variety. That difference maker. For example, I'm going to use this now because it's first thing coming to my head. Cherky. Imagine Cherky being in this team now, this squad. You go, right, this is the moment for him to come on, show us something different that no one else is capable of. Open up a space. The goal that they scored, Man City scored against Chelsea. He dances across the edge of the box, plays a beautiful little disguise pass into Mark Gahey, and they score. That's the sort of ball we need. That sort of awareness, ability to beat a player, and not only when you beat the player just stumbling. It's quite funny to have the vision just to slot a pass between the two centre halves, or right there, and then the game. And
do you know who that player is?
Palmer.
Cole Palmer. Get your calls in. You can have your say on this. 03717 223344. You're listening to the World Cup Sports Bar on Talk Sport. Brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction. Delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app.
Decent path if they can pull off what is probably a miracle is Congo. If they can get past England, there's something of a path there. I mean,
my friend. My friend. Just because you're in a bad mood, don't make me in a bad mood.
My brother you know what I mean? But yeah, you guys are absolutely right. The other teams that have that potential to go far is Senegal and Ivory Coast. But again, it's difficult to predict. But Morocco's path is quite good. And Congo, if they pull off a miracle, biggest miracle of the World Cup, then absolutely they can also go far. But Ivory Coast and Senegal are top quality teams who can beat anyone on their day.
Ain't happening, right, Troy?
No, more chance of Cabo Verde.
Against Argentina?
Yeah.
All right. And Bizo, many commiserations on your team going out of the World Cup. But you guys brought a lot to the party.
Absolutely.
And enjoy the rest of the tournament. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of the show.
And Bizo Mzimane with the reaction to South Africa going out of the World Cup at the hands of Canada. It was Stephen Eustachio who got the winner. More on the World Cup is next on the Golazo Network.
and only Tuchel will know. Okay, and once you get out of the group, and then okay, we got Congo. Okay, I'm not saying this is going to be easy but we should beat Congo. Let's be brilliant. I just wanted this squad. Has he looked at this team and squad and gone, do you know what? I'll need less of those players to break a defence down the further we go into the tournament. I think what we'll find then, we need pace. We might become a little bit more of a counter-attacking team. We might then, there'll be more space in which, like the first half, Rashford saw lots of the ball, and actually I thought he did really well. There was that chance where he cuts across the edge of the box and drills it. I wonder whether Rashford ran out of ideas a little bit. Second half, he looked a little bit drained of ideas, and whatever he tried hadn't quite happened. Even though I thought he played pretty well first half, but I think when you look,
saying is the team's built for the end of the tournament.
I wonder whether. I'm looking at how do you explain? He knew, like we all knew, that teams are going to play like this against England. When we get to the latter stages, less and less of this will happen. Less and less of this,
That's a good point.
And I just when then you look at this, what he's built. Look at why didn't Lewis Hall go? Because he's been one of the best left backs in the country. Well, he can bring Jed Spencer. Why? Because he's an absolute athlete. Your pace out in wide areas to burn. You've got Rashford, Gordon, Saka, Madueke, pace, Watkins. There is genuine pace in this team. We can't use it because the teams don't allow you because they play such a low block. There's no grass to run into. It's impossible. You could have played Ollie Watkins last night. Where's he running into? All he's doing is running to centre half. But
he stretches a pitch, which creates space for a Harry Kane.
Here's the but. The but is there will be the further we go. Let's say for the sake of this conversation, we play Mexico. Mexico, have a look at their shape, right? They play a 4-3-3 and a 4-1-4-1. They will give us that ball when we win possession. We will find ourselves in situations like we did second half against Croatia, like Rashford scored. We'll find ourselves in those type of areas where pace, and we can be a little bit more, I feel, that pace will come in, that injection, bang, gone.
I hear what you're saying. No, I hear what you're saying. I get it. You're talking about they're going to look at their strengths. But they're going to study England, right? Everyone's watched England. All these teams are going, right, what are England doing? Yeah. Because like what we've done with France and Spain, we've all watched them, right? If you're Mexico, you're looking at that. If we, and we do get Congo and they get through, we play Mexico. They're going to go, right, sit in.
But are they?
But that's how you frustrate England.
But how good are they at doing that? What is that? Is that their blueprint? We know Ghana, man for man, England are the better side.
Ghana are always going to do.
I know.
But Mexico. But
why would Mexico do that? Why would Mexico go into a game in the Azteca? They've lost two games.
Because you study England and you go, this is how you beat England.
No one's beaten us.
No, okay.
It's how you stop England, right? Mate, well, okay, if they do that, then we might have a problem. But my guess is...
So your guess is that...
No, they don't do that.
The later on in this tournament, that teams are just going to play their game.
That's my guess,
We're going to take England on.
Yeah. Here's what we do. We're going to play to our strengths. What's Ghana's strengths? What are their strengths? What are they good? They're good at denying space in wide areas, packing the midfield, dropping deep, denying space in behind. What's Panama's strengths? What's Mexico? Now Mexico, they just smashed. Was it 4-3-1 last night? I don't understand why. Look, you might be right. They might sit there and go, well, here's what we're going to do. We're ripping up that. We're going to go
and something ripping up. But there is going to be a time when England have good possession. Teams are going to sit in. Teams will sit in.
Yeah, well, we've got to move the ball quickly. You can't allow a team to get back into a shape. And I think that certainly against Ghana, I thought we were terrible at that. I thought we were shocking.
All right, if you've got a shared take of your own, you can voice note us or simply call us on 03717 223344. That's all thanks to Burger King.
Shared takes on Talk Sport with Burger King Burger Buddies. Iconic